Sounds intriguing.
You know we love to dig into the unusual stuff here. Well, today we've got a real humdinger. We're
Huh?
diving into a single poem. It's called a POTUS prayer, and it's by this poet. She calls herself Global Poet Stephanie.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Right. So the poem itself, it's about what you'd expect. It's a prayer, but it's specifically a prayer for the President of the United States. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Let me guess, there's a twist.
Always a twist.
Yeah.
So this poem, it was originally written back in July, but get this, it was just updated today, October 3rd.
Wow. Talk about timely. So what's the deep dive here? What are we uncovering today?
Well, I really want to unpack the language and the imagery Stephanie uses because she gets pretty intense with it. And I think it says a lot about how we view the presidency, faith, all of that.
I'm in. Let's do it.
Perfect. Let's start with something obvious. The title, A POTUS Prayer. What do you make of that right off the bat?
Well, I mean, you've got POTUS, this very official secular term for the president, and then prayer juxtaposed right next to it. It's like instantly you're bringing together these two worlds, politics and spirituality, right there in the title.
And it's interesting, right? Because you don't always see those two things so explicitly linked.
Definitely not. I mean, we know presidents have their own beliefs. And throughout history, there's been this interplay between faith and politics. But this title, this feels very deliberate, like it's putting that connection front and center.
And it makes you think about the audience, too. Who is this poem for? Who's Stephanie hoping will hear this prayer?
It really makes you think about the power of prayer in general, too, this idea that there's something bigger than us, something or someone to appeal to, especially when you're talking about someone with the weight of the world on their shoulders.
Exactly. And speaking of weight, let's talk about some of the language in the poem. She uses this phrase, Lamb of Zion, a couple of times.
Very explicitly religious imagery right there.
Totally. It immediately brings to mind sacrifice, vulnerability. It makes you see the presidency in a different light, don't you think?
100%. This isn't just about policies or elections anymore. It's about human fragility. It humanizes the office, in a way.
And that's what I find so fascinating about this poem. She goes on to talk about whispers of wars and rumors, which I don't know about you, but especially these days, that line really hits home.
Oh, absolutely. It's like this constant undercurrent of anxiety,
Right.
And it's not just about actual wars, although obviously that's a huge part of it. It's that feeling of uncertainty, of threats looming in the background.
And the rumors, it's like everyone's got an agenda, spreading misinformation. It makes you understand the pressure that comes with that job.
Absolutely. You're constantly being scrutinized, second-guessed. It's got to be exhausting.
And then, this is where I think the poem gets really powerful. She talks about the president needing peace, especially in the midnight hour when they feel the world doesn't care.
That line gives me chills. It's like suddenly you're seeing behind the curtain.
Right. You're reminded that no matter how powerful someone seems, they're still human.
Still vulnerable. We build these leaders up, put them on a pedestal. But at the end of the day, they have doubts, fears, just like the rest of us.
And they need support. They need to feel seen and heard. That's what I take away from that line.
Me too. It's a good reminder for all of us, I think.
It really is. So here we have it, a POTUS prayer, this really fascinating blend of politics, faith, and raw human emotion. It really makes you think, what goes on in the minds of our leaders? What are they praying for when they think no one's listening? That's all the time we have for this deep dive, but I hope this sparks some interesting conversations out